So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry, I haven't had the time. I've been quite busy with work and just not really got round to doing anything. Today I'm going to be speaking about my fitness journey and how I've got to where I am today, because a lot of you have only sort of known me for the last year or two, 18 months. So I'm going to sort of start from where I started basically. So I've now been going to the gym for almost 9 years. So I started back when I was 14 years old. Now, if you do see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my iPad. I've got a few notes because it's been a long time. So I've always sort of been involved in sports from an early age, from football to rowing, cricket, tennis, swimming, taekwondo when I was a kid as well, athletics. So I've always been involved in sports from sort of as young as 4, 5, 6 years old. I'm now 23, if you didn't know. So basically, I was never the tallest at school. I was never the biggest in terms of size. I was always quite skinny and lean. But as I say, I've always been involved in that sports side of things. So until around year 10, I was always one of the smallest of my mates. And then I somehow magically grew 8 inches in 6 months, which I'll tell you, it hurt. I got shin splints, knee pain, everything. But I just had to sort of push through it because there's nothing you could do to sort of get rid of those growing pains. So until October 2010, when I went to Barcelona with my family on holiday, I never really sort of realised how skinny I actually was until I saw these holiday photos around the pool. And this sort of really pushed me to want to do something more, because at the time I was doing pull-ups, press-ups, sit-ups and bicep curls pretty much every single day, but it just wasn't enough because the weights that I was using were only 3 kilos, so really small weights. So I'd literally stand there, no word of a lie, and do 1,000 reps with no rest of 3 kilos. Of course, that was great for muscular endurance, but it's not going to build my arms up, which obviously at the time I didn't realise. So yeah, when I saw these holiday photos, I wanted to add a bit of muscle to this tall frame. So at the time I was 6'2" and just 10 stone and 2 pounds. So I will put a photo of that up right now. So as you can see, not the best. So really I wanted to put some muscle on and gain some strength, because I was, playing football, physical sports. You need a bit of strength, especially when you're that tall. So I managed to convince my mum and dad at 14 to let me join the local gym. And at the time you could only go until 5 o'clock as a kid. So straight after school, I'd be straight down to the gym and be there 5 times a week, because my mates wouldn't do anything after school until sort of 7 o'clock. So I could go to the gym, have my dinner and still go out with my friends. And in that first month alone, I literally put on a stone of weight. I was eating more because I was just naturally more hungry from going to the gym all the time. And then also I was having my own little protein shakes it was just a Nesquik. So your standard milkshake was like chocolate flavour, banana flavour, vanilla. And I'd have that with full fat milk, because I noticed that it had quite high protein, to be fair, in it. Obviously there's loads of sugars and stuff, which isn't great, but it was just getting those extra calories in to build me up. As a result of all this, I did start seeing gains and seeing results, and that just motivated me more to go even harder in the gym. At the time, I wasn't really on a plan. I was literally just going to the gym out of the enjoyment of being there and sort of seeing results. So I was doing pretty much full body workouts 5 times a week, as well as playing football, which is great for sort of beginning, but if you want to sort of target certain muscles and recover properly, then it's not the best way. As time went on, I did start to learn more about different muscle splits, and then again started seeing my weight increase even further and quicker, which only again motivated me even more. So the big thing for me was when I was at school, people started noticing that I'd been going to the gym and putting on a bit of size, because I was always that tall, skinny kid, sort of towards year 10, 11. Well, people sort of noticed when I was filling out. That made me realise things that I wasn't realising myself. And also it just gave me that boost to keep going even further. And during that sort of initial growth phase, I wasn't really that fussed on the heaviest weight I could lift, 1 rep maxes or anything like that, like some of my other friends were. Like, we all started going to the gym around the same time, and everyone, it was all the big ego thing around, oh, I can lift this weight, you can lift that one. Oh. For me, that didn't seem, 1, sensible, 2, safe. Like, there was people like obviously getting injuries from it. So for me, I focused on time under tension and form over weight, because when you get your form right, that's when you are targeting, sort of utilising the muscle that you are intending to target to begin with. So, I mean, what's the point in doing one exercise for a certain muscle but ending up, because of bad form, injuring another part of your body? It just didn't make sense. So then I'd been going to the gym for around 18 months now, put on quite a bit of size, and then my dad was also going to a different gym, but he sort of challenged me to do a 2K test on the row machine, which he thought he'd done a really good time, but when it got to it, I beat his time by around a minute. So I was quite good naturally. I don't know why. Just, I had a good set of lungs on me. I was quite good at cardio, and I had a bit of strength from the weight training. So we actually got in touch with the local rowing team. I then went down, and within that first week we did another 2K test, which is sort of the baseline for rowing. And in that session, I beat everyone in my year group and the year above by quite a bit, considering it was my first week going to the sport. But yeah, they sort of realised there was a potential there to begin with, and they just had to sort of mould me into a rower. Quite early doors, I got told that I could go to GB trials in the October. So I'd started in the March of year 11 at school. 6 months later, I was on trials for Great Britain. Never did I think that was going to happen so quickly, but it did. The only thing is, you're sort of competing with people that have been doing it since we were a kid, when I've been doing the sport for 6 months. So there's not only a strength and endurance sort of side to it, there's your form and technique. Like I said with the weights, if you've got the correct form, you're going to do a lot better. Me personally, as a rower, didn't have the best form to begin with. So that sort of ended my sort of gym career, because I was training a lot harder then. So to begin with, I was training in the gym and then a few times a week rowing. When I got told about the GB trials, I had to stop playing football and actually stop going to the gym, because I was training then 9 times a week. Yes, 9. So I'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at training. Friday was sort of told to have a rest day, but I'd usually go into the gym and do a little bit. Saturday, Sunday, be on the water for 8 o'clock in the morning, and it'd be a double session. So that'd be 8 till around 10ish, and then back on the water for like 10:30, 11 until 1 o'clock. So that sort of took up most of my life. I missed out on quite a lot of 18ths, birthday parties in college. But yeah, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make, because I was competing at a national level. So I was going to national races. I've been to Henley qualifiers within my first sort of year of rowing, which is massive. Been to national schools, just nationals in general. And I also did sort of Fours Head and Pairs Head, which is a huge race on the Thames. So that's the university boat course, but the other way because of the tide. So there's around 500 boats on the water at one time, which is very busy and quite intimidating for the first time round, but once you do it a few times, it's not too bad. I also raced on Eton Dorney, where the Olympics was, which was a great experience to see all that. So I was doing rowing for around 2.5 years, racing at an adult level when I was about 16, 17. So we were sort of pushing the boat, as you would say, to compete at a higher level than we actually were, which was great for sort of growth. This sort of period as well really picked up my strength and endurance at the same time. I was probably eating around 5,000 to 6,000 calories per day quite easily. So I was costing my parents a fortune in food. So then A-levels came around. I had a lot of exams in my final year, and I was looking to go into work straight away. I wasn't looking to go to uni, because for me, I only felt the need to go to uni if there was a job I wanted to do that required a degree. However, I did not know what I wanted to do. So I thought the best option for me was to go into work and get my qualifications paid for. So I had to really knuckle down and sort of pull back on my training a bit. And the same with the rest of the lads in my boat. They were working at the same time, doing exams. So it got to the point where I was training maybe a couple of times a week. I also had a part-time job in college to just earn a little bit of money to be able to do anything. I managed to get my A-level sorted, and then I got took on for my apprenticeship, which started in the October of 2014. At this point, I was travelling to Manchester every day, which is a 30-mile trip just to work, so it's 60 miles round every day. So this really took up a lot of time for me, and with the exams that I'm doing my CIMA qualification, which is your Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So this took a lot of time, meaning that I couldn't commit to 9 times a week training, and also the sort of boat that I was racing in sort of split up a little bit, so to speak. So I went actually back to go in the gym because it meant I could go at any time. And then I also went back to playing football, which I've been doing now for the last 5 years. I finished my apprenticeship, and then I've been full-time now for 2 years. So I've been at the same company for 5 years, traveling to Manchester every single day. So it's all about work-life balance. So if you plan out your week well enough, you can do whatever you need to do. Like an effective workout doesn't have to last 2 hours. You could literally do a circuit and hit your whole body and burn around 500 calories in just half an hour. So it doesn't have to be all day. There's no excuse to not be able to go to the gym. You could go before work, you could go after work, just get it done. Sort of coming further up towards more recent times, I started my Instagram in January 2018. This was something I'd wanted to do for a long time, just because I enjoyed going to the gym and I was following other fitness influencers. And it was just something I was interested in, meeting new people with this sort of same mindset that I had. So the way to do that was obviously make a fitness Instagram account and then sort of reach out to those people. I actually made one when I was back in college, but I went the complete wrong way about it and ended up getting a lot of stick for it at the time, and ended up deleting it, which I was a bit gutted about because people were just quite immature at the time. So basically it got to January last year and I just thought, okay, I'm going to do it. So I've done it and then I haven't looked back really. I've met a lot of great people through the account, and I've started meeting people in person now, which is even better because it's great to speak to people through Instagram, but actually seeing someone in person, going to do a workout or seeing how they just do things and go about their fitness life. Everyone's different, but I'm open to seeing how other people do things because my way may be good for me, but their way may be good for them. But if we sort of share knowledge, we may be even able to take it up another step and sort of use other people's knowledge for our own benefits. So then, January this year, 2019, my first game back after Christmas playing football, I tore my ACL on January the 6th. I got a load of scans done. Luckily I have Bupa healthcare with work, so I got seen really quickly compared to people that have gone through the NHS. Got an MRI scan, and I actually went back in for my consultation after it. And he sort of, the doctor asked me sort of, how's your leg been? I said, oh, it's been fine. It's been pretty much walking fine now. So I thought maybe I'm getting away with this one. And the doctor sort of stopped and just went, oh, well, you've tore your ACL. So obviously heart sank. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to have an operation. I'm gonna be out playing football in the gym for however long. But he turned around and said, because your hamstring and your quads are really strong, your leg is actually compromising for the torn ACL, which is why I felt normal again, which I felt I could walk fine. So he said, we'll put you on a rehab plan, see how it goes, and then if it responds well, then you won't have to have the operation, because there's lots of footballers apparently out there that have torn ACLs but never get them operated on. Just depends on the individual at the end of the day. So at the time I was actually working between 2 jobs at my company, which meant I couldn't book my physio in to do the rehab because I didn't know how busy I was going to be at work. I couldn't commit to going to a physio session because I didn't know what hours I was going to be working in that day, how busy I was going to be. So essentially I was going on YouTube, doing my own rehab, looking on forums, what other people were doing, and it sort of started getting better. And then I even managed to play the last couple of games of the season last year. So I was out for about 3 months from playing football. I sort of built myself up again and then thought I'm okay to play. So during my rehab time in January, I started using a Grace Fit band for resistance, because basically I was told to go really light on the weights, but at the same time be able to test my knees under resistance. So obviously quite a lot of people know who Grace is. So I started using one of these bands. I was doing basically body weight squats and lunges with it, just to put some tension on the outside of my legs. And as I was posting more and more of this on Instagram, Grace actually noticed that I was putting things up. She started sharing my posts, and this is how I got sort of a big influx of followers on Instagram, just through this happening. And then I actually got invited down to London for an event with Grace to do a photo shoot for the new BND band. So she basically rebranded it from Grace Fit UK to BND. This was an amazing experience, and met a load of new people that I'm sort of still in contact with today. And yeah, this sort of accelerated my sort of growth on Instagram, which I'm very thankful for. This also has led to other opportunities. So like I said before, I've met a load of new people through Instagram, and this only helped it because I got a load more new followers, a load more new people branching out to me, and I'm branching out to them. So yeah, it was just this, it was all coming together. So the ACL tear was actually sort of a blessing in disguise, because I got a lot of exposure through BND, and then people started asking me questions about my ACL recovery. And then I was asking other people that had been through the same thing. Some people had the operation, some people hadn't. So it was just great to speak to other people that had been through the same sort of thing. And then sort of later in this year, I also became an affiliate of myprotein, which has been really good, because I've been using myprotein for a long time. So I've had the proteins, and more recently more clothing, because it has really stepped up massively, and it's brilliant, as well as the supplements have. But it just gives me sort of a involvement in the company, and it's great. So like I said, I've been meeting more people through Instagram and actually filming some content with each other. So there's a few people that you would have seen on my Instagram. If not, go check it out. Just doing partner workouts and just different types of workouts, which is great. And I'm planning on doing some meetups more this year. I did one about 2 weeks ago with 2 lads that I met from Instagram. There's a load of us across sort of Liverpool, Manchester area, and we're planning on doing some meetups just to engage more. Like we speak across social media platforms, but why not go meet up in a gym, or even just for a coffee? Because at the end of the day, you are speaking to them every day. You might as well see them face to face and make that friendship and that connection. So yeah, now we're at present day. I am currently 6'4" and 100 kilos. I've been sat at that sort of weight for a long time, sort of maybe the last year or so, maybe even that long. But I've noticed that I've managed to add a bit more muscle, but drop my body fat over that period of time. I don't train low rep ranges, and I never really have. I tend to train around the 10 rep range. 10 rep range. Just because I don't want to get into that sort of powerlifting mindset, because I still need to stay mobile and functional for football, but I don't want to go silly with like 15 to 20 reps, because I still want to have that little bit of size and that muscle, and I think 10 reps for me is sort of the sweet spot. I have done recently a bit more sort of 1 rep maxes on the bench, deadlift. Haven't done it on the squat because my knee, I am having a little bit of trouble with it at the moment, so I'm going to go get that checked. But yeah, it's not too bad. I'm still managing to do my workouts, still managing to play football, but I am going to get it looked at. Some of you may have seen on my Instagram around a month ago, I was considering doing a physique competition at the end of September. This was a very sort of quick decision that I made, and I then sort of took a step back and thought about it, and if I was going to be going into a physique competition, I wanted to make sure I'd planned it out right and I was going to do it all correct. Basically, I'd decided, and I would have had like 12 weeks, I think, to prepare for this competition. So I thought, one, that's not the best way to go about it. I'd want to plan it out, which could take a bit longer and sort of compromise the prep. Two, I'm very busy at work at the moment. And three, I need to finish my exams. So for me, my priority is actually my exams and work. And who knows, I may be able to do a physique competition next year. It all depends on your priorities. And at the moment, my priority is not to go and do a physique competition. It's something that I would love to do in the future, but right now I need to prioritize my exams. Obviously, I'm still going to the gym. I'm still playing football. It's not going to stop. It's just I can't commit fully to the diet, which is going to make me tired. The extra workouts, because that's going to take up time away from me actually being able to revise. And for me, the physique competition is intrinsically motivated, which means I want to do it for me because it would be a personal achievement for me. Extrinsically motivated would be to go and get gratification from other people and sponsorships and whatever, which is not what I do it for. It would literally be to challenge myself to see the best version of me, which I hate, but it is true. I would want to see how far I can push my body, which is what I do sort of in the gym anyway, because as I say, I'm form overweight, but I do push my weights as long as my form isn't compromised. So that's what I do every session. I try and beat my previous self, or last week's workout. I try and beat those weights if I can, but do not compromise on form, because I'm only going to get injured, which is not what I want, because I've already got a dodgy knee. So if you've managed to get to this point, which I'm sure a lot of you haven't, but thank you if you have, and I hope this has given you a bit more of an insight to how I've got to where I am today. So if you've managed to get to this point, which I'm sure quite a few of you haven't, thank you for watching, and I hope this has given you more of an insight to how I've got to where I am today, from 9 years ago when I was just this tall, skinny kid, to where I am today, which is not so tall. Well, it is tall, but not so skinny. But yeah, I will try and upload more on YouTube, because I've been asked a few other topics that people would like me to talk about, which is how to structure a workout plan and how I stay motivated. So hopefully they will be up soon as well. But yeah, thank you for watching. Go follow me on Instagram. It's GW_fit. So by the way, just before anyone gets the wrong message, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being tall and skinny if you are. It was just my personal goals. I wanted to put on a bit more size and a bit more strength for what I was doing to stay functionally fit. So yeah, please don't say the wrong message, but that was just my personal preference. Your personal preference may be to be tall and skinny. It's entirely up to you. We are all different at the end of the day. But yeah, have fun, because I'm going to put some bloopers up now from this video. Enjoy. From where I was 9 years ago. I will put the links in my comment thing. Yeah, that's not even. So during my rehab time, I actually started using, I had all pre-season last year. Then a lot of people,